Imagine spending your entire life waiting on your crush. Relationships in video games are nothing new. Building connections is a lot of what makes a story great. But when you are the most desired person in town, why does that actually suck? Grab your favorite mug and let's dive into the thicket of all things romance and relationships. Let's set the scene. You've just moved to town, inherited your grandparents' old farmland, and tired of the city life, you are looking for a fresh start. No, wait. You're recruited to a town to help restore and revitalize the lands after a natural disaster. Oh, even better. You wake up, unaware to who you are and where you're from, and the town that took you in and helped you, you decide to stay and help them. Well, you can't remember if you had anything else going on, so why not? And naturally, you start to befriend the townspeople. And maybe one or two eligible people have caught your eye. Maybe even a couple of ineligible ones too. And hey, they like you back, which sounds like a dream. But then everybody likes you, so you can date anybody. Or honestly, date everybody. And herein lies our problem. Everybody liking the same person is just not realistic. But it's a video game, I hear you cry. And yes, of course. But when you give your characters personality, there is going to be some level of realism that's expected with that. But why exactly would everyone being romantically interested in your player character be a bad thing? For one, there's no risk. No risk of consequences for your actions, and no risk of the person that you're courting deciding that you're taking too long and moving on. If you played the original Harvest Moon games, this was a prominent feature. It encouraged you to talk to the townspeople and to pursue a romantic interest. So much so that some candidates could move away or become temporarily unavailable. This meant that you had to work fast and intentionally to court whoever caught your eye. And it also created a reason to play the game again, because once you married a chosen candidate, your other options marry your rival and create a life with them. It is a feature that I sorely miss in modern farming sims, because being in year 54 and still being able to choose to marry anybody that you want is really shattering to realism and quality of life. Imagine spending your entire life waiting on your crush, because back in year 2, they spent an entire season showering you with sunflowers and wine. I mean, personally, I wouldn't wait around that long. So the fact that these characters basically freeze in time waiting on your character, it's kind of lame. And while some modern farming sims do still hold that rival matchup, where you can see which characters might have chosen each other based on who they hang out with and general personality types. But that honestly just serves to make me feel sad about the characters, because they basically have no life outside of you, the player character. And the way that this mechanic could have livened up modern farming sims is something that I will lament forever. Because ultimately, the depth and richness of the NPCs die and become stagnant, which leads to weak character development. And not just for the NPCs, it's weak character development for the player character. And the player character is starting to sound like it has an alternate meaning. Wait, how does everyone liking the same person lead to weak character development, especially for the character that you play as? Farming sims are often very narratively weak, but if you have a weak story, it can be redeemed by strong characters. But if both are weak, well, there's not a lot left to work with. Except the great thing about simulation games is getting to impact the story with the choices that you make. If socializing and relationship building is a core mechanic to a game, having everyone like you, especially regardless of the choices that you make, fundamentally makes your choices moot. If I make a choice in a cutscene that a character doesn't like, it is but a temporary setback. Give it a couple of days of talking and showering them with their loved items, and it gets brushed under the rug and forgotten about. There's no consequence to any choice that I make. And I ultimately think that the original intent of Farming Sims was a simulation of what it would be like to uproot your entire life and start over fresh in a new community that is a tight-knit community. It was to get to know the people and the town and to help shape it, because in a small town setting, one person can make a really large impact. And honestly, simply put, everyone being romantically interested in one person, it's a formula for a weak story. Narratively speaking, you've made a really good Hallmark movie. But why do we even talk about this? Well, because I want to lament the things that I wish I saw more in Farming Sims, but also because what we accept is what we will continue to get. And if we decide that games should be able to give us more, because provably they can, then we can push them to step up their game. I love Farming Sims. They are some of the first games that I ever played, and they have a firm grip on me as a player. But I have also played a lot of other games where social mechanics are strong features within the gameplay, and I would love to see Farming Sims implement a more dynamic social mechanic. And I am no game dev by any means, so I'm not going to say that it's a simple change to add. But I do know that if other games can implement stronger social mechanics within their games without it being a true dating sim, and it just being a feature within the game, I think that we can ask and expect Farming Sims to level things up a little bit. And we've seen that already with some of the more recent games that have come out, like Wyld Flowers, Fields of Mistria, and Coral Island. These are community-focused games with really rich stories and really rich characters. And yes, everyone still likes you in these games, but the richness of the NPCs is not detracted by that. There are some characters that will get into relationships with one another if you don't move fast enough. And sometimes you just have to poke fun at the fact that some of these tropes have just branched ridiculously far. These games all work towards more diversity and more representation, some even pivoting the relationships from being purely romantic into deeper layers of friendship with people. And that is a positive thing that I love to see within these games. I just want to see that these characters would have lives outside of the player character. If I didn't play the game, if my character wasn't there, their life would still go on. That just creates deeper world building and a richer narrative overall. Even a weak narrative would have more meaning if the characters had more life. And don't get me wrong, sometimes we love a good Hallmark moment. We like a predictable story. We like a feel-good outcome. But I think that we can and should ask for more from games that we love to play. But what are your thoughts? Are you quite happy with the way that Farming Sims are right now, or are there things that you would love to see kind of enriched? Let me know in the comments. And if you are looking for a game that has really good social interactions, a deep narrative, and your choices really do matter in it, I have got the perfect video for you to check out right here. And with that, save your games, water your plants, and I will see you next time.